Okay, hi, my name is Michelle McLemore, and what I'm doing tonight is I'm preparing for an Introduction to Essential Oils workshop tomorrow, which will be at Way of Life in Tecumseh, Michigan, and that's from 6 to 7 p.m. So one of the things I'm going to show tomorrow is actually aromatic stress balls. So as I'm walking through this, please let me know you're on, type hi, let me know where you're at. If you have specific questions, I'll be able to then let you know and get back with the answers for your questions when I'm done with this. The whole procedure here will take roughly 5-10 minutes. Like I said, thanks for joining if you're here. If you're seeing this at a later time, thanks, and I hope you find it helpful. So, uses. So, stress relief balls. Many of you might know somebody who gets really stressed and they might be a kinesthetic person. So their tendency is to move a lot, jiggle their leg, tap their pens or pencils. So if we give, I'm a teacher during the normal school year, so if I give them a rubber ball, their tendency is they're going to want to start playing with it. Well, that's going to disrupt everybody else. So I have little soft squeezy ones, but this year I'm also going to be taking aromatic stress balls. So you can use it for stress relief at your desk. It's not going to be disruptive to anyone around you, just basically squeezing it, but you'll have more give than you would with a normal sponge ball. Kinesthetic focus helps with that. If you have hand arthritis, and I know a lot of people do, the more that we're in the work world, we're using computers for play or for work, your hands are going to start tightening up, your fingers and joints are going to start feeling it. So this actually, when it's warm, first off, is actually very soothing, and based on the essential oils that you put into it, can also do double duty on it and help with that. Also, if you're a mom or a caregiver, dad, caregiver, it's a kind of a fun and easy, low mess, low cost rainy day activity. So I know we haven't had that many rainy days here in Michigan lately, but it's something to do and something that your kids can help with, regardless of their age for the most part. All right, so again, let me know when you're here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So our basic ingredients are, you need 1 cup of flour. I know it seems like a lot, but you need half a cup of salt. Okay, 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. If you can see that. Woo. Okay, 1 cup water. And yes, I already have these because I didn't figure you'd want to wait on me. Some olive oil, actually 1.5 teaspoons of olive oil. Food coloring is optional, and I use a couple drops just to help me remember the purpose if I'm making different batches. So again, you've got your standard food coloring. I just use generic, but you can make whatever colors you want there. Okay, and then I've seen recipes where they say 6 to 8 drops of essential oils. Last time I made a batch, I couldn't smell anything until we had up to about 15, and I use Be Young essential oils, which are not diluted at all from the from the company. So just kind of play it by ear, see what you need, and I'll walk you through making the product. We don't add the essential oils till after it's been taken off the heat and cooled a little bit, because heat acts as an activator to release the oils and to release if it's aromatic or the active ingredients within it. So you want to wait till it's cooled a little bit. If we were making a blend to use on the skin or anything else, if you wanted the scent to hang out longer, you'd actually want to add myrrh to whatever your choice oils are. Even back in biblical days, that's what they would use to retain the scents longer. So, all right, so in the saucepan, I think you can see over here, we're going to start with the flour, the salt, and the tartar. So feel free to amuse yourself or check in as you're watching, and we're going to get started. So it does seem like a whole lot of salt, but remember, you're not eating this at all, so there's nothing really to worry about there. Add the flour and the salt. Going to add the cream of tartar next. So again, remember that's 2 teaspoons. So, and yes, this is my first live video, so no, it's not polished. I'm not trying to do a Vanna White thing or anything like that. So I'm hoping you're having some fun and having a cool beverage in the steamy day that we have. Okay, just gonna mix that a little bit, then we'll add in the next couple things. Okay, so next I'm gonna add in the water. I'm gonna add the cooking oil next, which is the olive oil. And we need, back up again, 1.5 teaspoons of the olive oil. There's one, slightly over a half. Yes, I tend to be a little bit messy in the kitchen, so we don't let that disturb you, hopefully. Alright, water, cooking oil, and then we would do the food coloring next. But first I'm going to stir the water and the flour and all the other ingredients together. Make sure all of it's getting in the batter. Curious how many of you have made something like this before, and if you've used different ingredients or had a different method, if you'd let me know that as well too. I'm always interested in seeing how it turns out for everybody else. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the consistency there. So it's still pretty runny at this point. Okay. Still, it's not going to firm up for a minute here. Alright, so get that all on there over the heat. Again, we decide what kind of food coloring, if any, that we're going to use. Let's see, today let's use, we're going for stress relief. Let's try blue. No magic amount. Put a couple in and, ooh, yep. Don't tell my husband I just color dyed the counter. Hi, honey, just kidding. Or not. Okay, so stirring that together. And again, the food dye is not essential at all to what you're doing. It's just if you want to make it fun for the kids or keep track of different ones with different oils in it. Okay, you can see it's starting to shape up now, it's starting to get a little thicker. You want to turn to low heat if you haven't. And you're going to keep stirring. When it gets a little more doughy, we're going to totally remove it from the heat. If you find any chunks and you want to get those out of there. Whew. Forgot this was going to give me an arm workout. Alright, you can see it's starting to pull into balls by itself now. Okay, so we're going to totally remove it from the heat. Can you see back there? Not so much, huh? Okay. Just do a little bit more here. Okay. Now the next thing, still a couple lumps, but you're getting the idea, I'm sure. Okay, so once you've removed it from the heat, it needs to cool about 3 to 4 minutes. I have a timer. Set, 3. So I'm going to set it for 3 minutes. Then we're going to put it on aluminum foil and then add the oil. So I'm going to talk a few moments here about the oils. Again, I use Be Young. They're the only company in the United States known to use the European stricter standards for essential oils. There's actually a 14-step process to ensure the purity of oils and to make sure they're actually therapeutic grade If they don't go through, my understanding, all 14 steps, then they're only good for aromatic use, not really to be put on the body, not really to be taken internally, things like that. So you do want to make sure that whatever essential oils you're using, they are the highest grade and safe for you and your family, especially if you're going to add them to food or put them on the skin or anything like that. So yeah, okay, so as far as what kind of things you can use, if you're making the stress balls for actual stress balls, these Play-Doh things. Orange, let me see which I have here. Orange and peppermint, both are really good for concentration. Peppermint has a host of other uses, but today we're just talking about for what we could use with these. Lemon is really good for focus as well. Okay. Lavender for calmness. I think I just showed you lavender instead of peppermint, but okay. So lavender is for calmness. So that's probably what I'll put in. If you want to be making these for use for your hands, to get a little extra relief while you're using them for physical therapy benefits, to keep your hands moving, to stretch your hands, things like that. A couple different oils we recommend. One is basil. Fresh basil looks like this. Okay, so basil is one of them. All right. You can use, I didn't plant any dill this year, thyme. Thyme out of the garden, looks like that. Okay. You can use fennel. I planted a red fennel this year. Let's see, so, and there's also copiaba and raven sorrow, which are also really good for bone and muscular pain. Okay. All right, so we're about 33 seconds left in that. Sorry about the noise there. So going to put the pile of Play-Doh on a piece of tin foil. And we're going to knead it with our hands. Didn't make it on the floor. Okay, I don't know if you can see it or not. Here's what it looks like at this point. Oh, and the cat's joined us. All right, so we're going to knead it with our hands, and then we'll be adding the essential oils into it. Okay, it's still pretty warm, so I'll probably let it cool just a little bit more on this. But again, take a minute to yourself. What would you use it for? Okay, and this makes a pretty good size. So maybe you could get, you know, maybe 2 or 3 balls out of this. That's still a pretty good hand size. There could be 1. Yeah, definitely. 2. And the third one's pretty big, so you could probably even get probably 4 smaller ones. So, but for now I'm going to apply the oil to all of them as one big mass. But you could do it either way. You could pull all 4 apart and could have added different oils to each one if you wanted to. So, yep, pretty warm. So, all right. So, going to, let's see if I can bring this down so you can see it a little bit better. I don't know if you can. Let's see if I can pull this up a little bit. How's that? Is that better? Okay, and again, we're doing this for relaxation, stress relief, so I'm going to use the lavender. You can count the drops. Some people like to put a actual eyedropper on top that you can screw on. It's whatever you really like to do. You can ask your inner self. You can smell it, see what point it smells the best to you. Yep, I can smell it already, and that was probably about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, which is what I'd said at the beginning is what I used last time I did this. And again, you want the oil to go all the way through it, so you have to knead it pretty strong, okay? You can see it's not sticking to my hands at all, so it's a nice composition to work with. Nice material to work with. Again, the heat acts as the activator, so it's going to smell stronger the first time you do it, the beginning. But if you put this into an airlock bag or airlock container, it will keep it from drying out and make it useful for a long time. The other thing is then you can also put it in the refrigerator, and that helps maintain the integrity of it for a while as well. You can see it takes not too much time. And out of that, just depending on the size of the balls that you want, size of the material that you want to play with, will give you anywhere from 2 larger ones, 2 smaller ones, to whatever size you want to play with, and to help hopefully with your stress. Okay, so remember, stress, or for arthritic hands, you can zap it in the microwave a little bit to warm it back up, especially if you had it in the cold. But remember, most of us, we need to work on the manual opening and closing of our hands when that's an issue, stretching back, okay, rolling. If you have somebody with Parkinson's or other type of illnesses that start limiting the mind and muscle connections, this is also very good. Different manual dexterity actions will help. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful, and thanks for tuning in. Take care, and for those of you I'm going to see tomorrow in Tecumseh, we'll see you then. Best wishes. Bye-bye.